Hello, this is Coffee with Kish. Nice to have the mug back. It's my home mug, not the one that I use when I'm commuting to work. So, this is a kind of serious little update here. Our home is kind of in the projected pathway of Hurricane Milton. We are not on the coast, which is the good news. We're not on low ground. Where we are, we're on relatively high ground. We've never experienced flooding. Of course, the ground is very saturated, so I can't obviously guarantee that there won't be flooding. We've evacuated everyone in our family who was close to the coast and in the path of the storm. We're going to ride this one out. My thoughts are with Steve Pynakker, who's already sought shelter elsewhere. Yes, I am in Florida. Holy smokes, how I ended up in Florida. Well, as a kid, I dreamed of being in Florida, and my favorite football team was the Miami Dolphins. So, be careful what you wish for, guys. It's a great place to live in some respects, but the hurricanes I could definitely do without. And I experienced some hurricanes growing up in Virginia. I remember taking buckets to bail water out of my basement with, of course, part of a bucket brigade with my family. I remember the tornado that skipped over my house. So it's not like I was a stranger to weather, but I really wasn't expecting as a kid to experience big weather events every year. And in Florida, it's been pretty bad. There's always been the threat of hurricanes and tornadoes looming over us, and knock on wood, we have been very blessed thus far not being hit, and I hope it stays that way, because frankly it would be awful. Unfortunately, my house is surrounded by trees. In the last storm, huge pieces of trees fell in my backyard, and I had to actually buy a chainsaw. Some of them were so big, they were the size of small trees. Some of them were so big that I had bought a chainsaw to take them apart. Got them out of my backyard just in time for the county yesterday to pick up the yard debris, in this case tree-sized yard debris, and take it away from the last horrible storm, Helene. But we were fortunate. Unfortunately, some of my students were not so fortunate. One of my students' homes was flooded because her family lives in the Tampa area, and that was really difficult for her, obviously. So this is it. This is life in Florida, and you kind of have to learn to live with it. I actually left work. Fortunately, I can teach on Zoom on occasion. I don't like doing it often, but in this circumstance, I had to come back home to help my family prepare for the storm. And this morning I went out on one of those, manic hurricane shopping sprees where I was loading up on water and beef jerky and non-perishable snacks and things like that. I didn't even have a really full basket. I only had one, decent basket full. I have in the past done that big hurricane shopping trip where I stocked up on all kinds of stuff, and then the hurricane didn't hit us. And that's the problem here, is you just never know when, and you start feeling complacent, like, well, this is never going to happen. I mean, I've lived in 2 towns in Florida. Both of them have been in the paths of hurricanes. And thus far, and it could happen anytime now, I know, thus far I've not experienced major property damage from a hurricane. And I'm really praying that this time is the same, but you never know. And my house is surrounded by big old trees, and we've seen chunks of them regularly fall into the yard. We had some of them removed. It's not like, we're completely irresponsible. We've regularly had arborists come and check our trees, but so we've removed quite a few, but there's still a lot because we essentially live in a forest. In fact, we live very close to a state park, so we're living in the woods in Florida in a hurricane-rich environment. So maybe it's time to reevaluate our life choices. Well, anyway, that's my quick update, one I'm going to get out today. I'll keep you updated, let you know afterwards how we fared in Milton. Hopefully it won't be a problem for me to do so. Best case scenario, we have some wind and rain and we don't lose a lot of, branches. And I never lose power. In Helene, we never lost power. We lost all kinds of chunks of trees, but the power we didn't lose. This time we could. Hopefully not. The problem with Helene was it was big. All right, this one isn't going to be as big, and so we may only get some tropical storm-like weather, which is not, something to sniffle at. It's serious too, and it can do some damage. And we have freaky things happen in our neighborhood where, you'll look around, you'll say, oh, there's no damage here. And then you'll go on a walk and see that in the middle of nowhere, there's a tree sitting on a house somewhere in your neighborhood. And most recently, it was a tree in an office park less than a mile away from me that had turned over. You get some freak occurrences. That's the way wind is. Okay, Lola. That's my dog. She's whining. So anyway, Coffee with Kish. Thanks for hanging out with me for a moment. I'll keep you updated on Milton on my end. Ciao.